The next guest on Smarter San Diego TV is our Metro real estate expert and host of Big Daddy Radio. Please welcome back the Big Daddy himself, Bryan Garrity.
The Big Daddy.
Wow. It is. I like it.
There he is.
Formal.
Yeah, right?
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, the accent too.
I love it. She's a doll.
Now, let's talk about the socks. Let's get that out of the way right off the bat.
Have to talk
Now
about
you
the
know
socks.
I want a sock cam.
Sock game
Yes.
going.
There is a game to it.
There's some orange in there, and that
There
goes with the
is.
carpet, so that's perfect.
So there you go. I was not going to disappoint. I am on a movement for socks. I wish I would have got in on that. I mean, early on, it's totally a booming business. But anyways, for another day.
But anyway, sock
Back to
game
my real job.
Your real
of
job.
being a real estate agent.
and hosting an awesome radio show as well.
amazing,
And we'll talk
yes.
about that in a second. North Park is really the talk of the town, frankly.
It really is.
Has been for quite some time. A lot of people are just kind of enamored with the concept. They're like, is it real?
Well, I mean, you know that in Forbes, Fortune 500, it was listed as one of the top places in the United States, urban areas of places to live,
Right.
places to be. That's a pretty big designation to have. Look, yes, I still think it's frothy. In fact, I think it's more frothy now than when I was here weeks ago. So anybody who says like values are going to continue to increase and we're going to continue to see abundance of increase in values, whether you're in North Park or anywhere in San Diego, how long can that happen? It just can't. I really, truly believe it's hit the frothy point. I do. You know, for us to do a really great job for a seller and get out there, there's a lot of things that North Park has. Number one, you're going to live in one of the top communities nationally recognized as an urban area of a place to be. Number two, you have North Park Main Street, which I want to give a lot of credit to because 20 years ago when it started out as a guy, an executive director, trying to get business owners involved in the community to kind of revitalize it. That's how it started. Every community has, like Uptown District for Hillcrest, they have, you know, the Uptown community, similar. But North Park Main Street took on a different challenge from the state in 2009, where they challenged them to make it a sustainable green community. And they're the first community in the state or United States that took on this challenge. And they went through and they've got architects on board and, you know, all, of course, your law firms come along with that. But the goal is to have a plan for North Park to have sustainability.
Right.
And you know, they've done a really amazing job, this North Park Main Street. It's comprised of all volunteers. So you have to be a business owner in North Park to be on the board. But they need people. They have street fairs. We talked about North Park becoming very artsy, like Ray at Night. It's a big thing. Talked about when I owned a pet store there 20 years ago, and everybody said I was crazy. It wouldn't last 6 months. 20 years later, it's still there today, operating, going gangbusters. So North Park is a very cool place to be. North Park is really taking measures whenever they're looking at buildings or redoing things. The greener that they can be, the more incentives there are, et cetera. But I like that they have the grant. I like that they have the accountability because that's going to filter out for all these homeowners that are in North Park that are seeing their values increase to a point where I will tell you again, it's frothy. So if you're a seller,
and what he means is that prices are probably somewhat peaking here.
They've got to be. I mean, how the incomes aren't keeping up with the sale prices. So you can have every agent on here saying, no, it's not true. The inventory is limited, and hugs and kisses to all of them. I love them. That's great. I just disagree. I don't believe it can continue. Am I saying it's going to happen tomorrow? No. Am I an economic pundit? No. Do you have economic pundits on both sides of the fence that say that the housing is going to continue to increase? Yes. Both sides of the fence. I tend to go, and I'm generally not a conservative guy. You know this. I would generally be a little bit more liberal.
In an area that's got all these accolades and has all these things going for it, we went ahead and asked people on social media, a lot of homeowners in North
Really
Park,
healthy
in fact.
response.
Yeah, tons of people were on there. It was
I'm
pretty
telling
wild.
you, it reinforces what a hot community North Park is.
Yeah,
It is.
And
It
since
is.
we have you here, we should probably address some of these things. So, Rebecca, tell us what social media had to say.
Yes, so we asked, has the city done a good job improving the area? Now, I'm going to apologize ahead of time if I completely butcher your name, but Diablito Cruzito Flores says that he's lived here my whole life. 35 plus years, so he's seen the good, bad, and the ugly. There's been huge improvements as a real local, not a transplant. I'll never leave and hope it continues to get better. Just an FYI, NP was in Fortune 500 as one of the up-and-coming urban areas in America.
So there it is.
Oh,
Cooperated.
I love it. There you go.
Cooperated.
Yes, thank you. So now if somebody says, that's not true, there you go. Somebody's right on point with me. They were actually.
How about what Chris said? That was pretty interesting.
Chris has to say, and I kind of have to agree with him, I'd kill to live in North Park, both the good, up-and-coming neighborhood, the bad, the homeless rattling cars, and the ugly, the noisy, busy Friday, Saturday weekend.
Yes, it is noisy, but you know, depending on where you live or which part you're in. But the homeless, I don't want to get into a discussion on the homeless. I just think that it's too hot of a topic, and I don't want to get into any politics about it.
That's okay.
Because it's one of those things.
You don't have to. I think it's one of those. It just exists everywhere. It's just one of those things.
It's too tough of a proposition to tackle, especially on a segment like this. I think it just is. But does it exist? It does. Does crime exist? It does. You're in North Park. It's an urban area. I mean, somebody was relating it to Detroit. I think that was a big stretch. And
I saw that.
I was like, I think you're far, far away. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I mean, I know people in Detroit that own liquor stores that before they leave, they literally fire a gun twice before they open the door, lock it to go to their car. That's a true story. So no, North Park is nothing like that. It's a relatively, I would say, very safe neighborhood. People wouldn't be flocking there the way they're flocking. But if you are a homeowner there and you're seeing the values, and we talked last time about an exit plan, maybe it is time for us to sit down and talk about selling your house. Maybe it really is. I don't know.
A couple people said stuff like that, like, oh, I want to sell my house, but I want to get this much for it. Do you think sometimes people get too greedy when they see the market?
Yes, and unfortunately what happens is you'll have agents that will go out and they'll do what's called buying the listing. I'm not trying to be controversial about it. It's just something that exists in the real estate community. So if I was a seller and I came out as the agent, I'm going to have all the backup as to why I'm going to list your house at XYZ. So if the person that wants $750 but knows their house is $650, some agents will go out, sign a listing agreement knowing that they cannot get that amount. But knowing that once they have them in contract, work them a little bit, get them to reduce the amount and come up with a sale. That's bad business, in my opinion.
It is.
And that is called buying the listing, so beware. And the Big Daddy told you that.
Yeah.
But I would rather walk away from a listing if I know that you're not going to be able to get what you should get, or what if you think you're going to get is too high. I would rather walk away and let somebody else engage. And it's not one of those I told you so's, but sort of.
What's up next for Big Daddy Radio? Friday, you're on Wednesdays 2 to 3 p.m.
2 to 3 p.m.
ESPN 1700.
It's going gangbusters.
It has been
People
for a
love
long
it.
time.
I mean, it is. We get tons of emails, and we got a great new opening to the show, which I'm excited about, which will premiere on this Wednesday at 2 o'clock. You can live stream the show, which we have like a funny story. So I was in my office working last week. There was a guy in the hallway. And I saw, we don't usually leave the door open, but the door was open, and my voice is a little, I guess, distinguishable, so people tell me. But the guy was walking down the hall, and I just caught him out of the side of my eye, and then he came back, and he was like, oh my God, he's like, I know that voice. And he's like, do you have a radio show? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, we listen to it every Wednesday at our office. It's great. And that feels good. To hear that. And no ego at all, because the show, listen, I'm very self-deprecating, and if you can't poke fun at yourself, you got a whole lot of hurt. That's my opinion. You got to be able to have fun with yourself. But if you can't have fun with yourself first, and we do with the show, we got a lot of good topics coming on. We got a lot of celebrity guests that are planned that we're confirming. I think that people will be surprised at coming. And I'll announce that next time we're here, because they'll be near the holidays, but two really good ones that are on our radar. So
fantastic stuff. Thank you so much for coming in today,
of course,
BG.
love it.
Big Daddy Bryan Garrity. North Park, the market is frothy. Call Big Daddy. This might be the last chance you get to sell your home for top dollar in North Park. And stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.